Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the District of Illinois Fireside Chat, our Black History series. I am Brother Leonard C. McInnes, II, the Illinois District Director, and I am joined by the Illinois District Historian, Brother Chuck Smoot. Brother Smoot, good evening. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I am excited about this conversation this evening, brothers. You know, all month of February, we are highlighting brothers that some may call unsung heroes. And last night, you listened in to a conversation with Brother William Kimball III from the District of Illinois. And now we have a brother beloved from the state of Michigan, the District of Michigan, the city of Detroit. I will say this is a city that's important to me. As our guest knows, I met my wife in the city of Detroit. She hails from that city. I was married in Detroit, Brother Smoot, and so I guess some connection to the city.
You got a little bit of connection to it. Okay,
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
So we'll let you slide.
Before I bring our guest to the panel this evening, I do want to say something about the brother who's coming before you. You know, I've known Brother Hary Todd. You know, I don't know. You know, let me see. When I first, I think, really became acquainted with him, my wife was pregnant with her first child, and every year after that, she was pregnant again. And every year, Hary Todd, he says, every year, you know, the strollers kept multiplying. You know, I became acquainted with this brother, you know, almost 13, 14 years ago. And Brother Hary Todd, you know, is a brother's brother. Everyone who knows him will say the same thing. And what I appreciate about Brother Hary Todd is that he's consistently a good brother.
Yes,
Brother Smooth.
absolutely.
And that counts for a lot. So I'm going to bring him to the stage. You know, he and I worked together in the Stovall administration of our fraternity on the Committee on Grievance and Discipline. He is the president of the Detroit Alphas Gamma Lambda chapter there in Detroit. And so please welcome to the stage Brother Beloved, Brother Hary C. Todd from the District of Michigan. Brother Todd, welcome.
Man, with that introduction, man, I don't know what to do. I was like, who are they talking about?
Well, we talk. We got to say something nice about you.
Well,
you know,
okay, that's fair.
At least for the moment.
Yeah. I tell you, brothers, when Brother Smooth reached out to me a couple of weeks ago or so, and I was like, but I learned one thing. I learned one thing in Alpha: don't block your blessings.
Right.
And when somebody thinks highly of you, to ask you to join their conversation, fireside chat, is a high honor, and I thank you, brothers, for the honor.
Well, I mean, and if I can piggyback on your experience, Brother McInnes. Now, Brother Todd, you and I first became acquainted through Facebook.
Yep.
And in some of the Facebook groups, and our first real interaction was when I was Theta's advisor, and one of the guys was coming to Detroit for the summer, and I reached out to you. We hadn't had a conversation. I was like, I got a Theta brother. He's going to be in Detroit for the summer. I need you to look out for him. Is that okay? And
that's Brother Barrel.
Brother TJ.
Yep.
And you know, you sent me that video. I still have the video when y'all ran into each other in the grocery store. But sight unseen, you took care of that brother over the summer.
Absolutely.
You know, and I always appreciate that. I know Brother Barrel appreciated it. And that said to me a lot about not only the type of brother that you are, but the type of man that you are. And I've always appreciated that, you know, about you. So when we were talking about this and it came up, even though you're from Detroit, you know, although you are actually our first guest outside of the District of Illinois, and we are very happy to have you here with us, and we want to talk with you, Brother McInnes and I. Both have been respectful of your work, both inside and outside your frat, and that's a little bit of what we want to talk about tonight. Of both of your endeavors within the fraternity and outside of the fraternity. Is that not correct, Brother District Director?
That is correct, Brother Smooth. That is correct. I'm looking forward to not just his alpha journey, as you mentioned, but learning about his past. And as we all know, Brother Hary Todd's name is synonymous with Jive Turkey. And so,
Yes.
we
we're definitely going to talk
Todd
about that
Turkey's.
tonight.
So with that, Brother Smoot, I'm going to let you, kick up this conversation. I'll probably go to the background as I often do, but I look forward to this conversation. So, welcome to the Fireside, Brother Todd.
I'm proud to be here, and it's ice out here in Detroit. I know some cold weather out there in Illinois.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Say before we really get started, the great state of Illinois is really dear to me, and because of the brotherhood, quite frankly. The brothers from Lambda and the other plethora of chapters in the Chicago area and other parts of Illinois had just kind of always gravitated to me. Brother Ron Russell.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
When I met
Absolutely.
that brother, man,
Mm-hmm.
it was like we was two peas in a pod,
Right.
literally.
Right.
The Apple, the Lane brothers.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And I go to a convention, man. So I'm waiting for Apple to do his thing. So that gratifies me. That uplifts my spirit. That helps me go through these hard days and nights and say, man, I'm going to connect with Brother Lane, Lane, all the brothers. And I sit with them, man. I break bread with them. And, I might have an adult beverage or two with them. But man, I know the great state of Illinois is dear to my heart. I know one thing. If my butt showed up in Illinois at anyone's frat house or whatever, I got some good food from Leonard McKinnis.
Yep.
I got some good food at immediate past President Lanza's house. He owes me some brisket and all that. Brother Stacy, loved him. And, Brother Banks, just top-notch brothers, man. We are kindred spirits, man. We're from the mighty Midwest.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
The only thing that y'all talk about that's a little different from Michigan is you all are very nautical related with the ships and things of that nature. Well, I'm gonna give y'all a pass on that. Let's get it.
Don't hate. Don't hate. And and also thank us for house music. So
I will.
But let's get into it. I mean, Brother Todd, like I said, as I said, I'm very happy to have you here. I've been looking forward to this, and I've been talking it up to my friends because I think your story is an important one and an inspiring one. But let's start with your beginnings. I mean, tell us a little bit about where you grew up, how you grew up, where you initially went to school, and were educated.
So, I'm a Detroit kid, right? Detroit public schools all my life. Cass Tech High School.
Of course.
Of course. Then I attended Western Michigan University, where I had a great run there. I was chapter president there. I pledged at 19 years of age. That was 1982. Our chapter was Epsilon Xi chapter. We had we had a very strong chapter. I left in good hands. We had an Alpha House there that we owned on a land contract, if you will. I had a great run there, and thankfully after college, I was self-employed. Me and two brothers. If anyone here ever streams a movie, Netflix, anything like that, you can thank me, because in 1986, me and two friends, one other frat brother, we started a company called Roadshow Video.
Okay.
It was a video business. That video business was the first video business in the country to deliver videos to a person's home, office, or anywhere else.
Okay.
As well as we picked them up. We bring the movies to you. That was our slogan, and with a box of popcorn.
Okay.
I'm very proud of what we did there. I was in business for 7 years until I had a strategic relationship with Blockbuster. I was going to open up another store in Detroit, and I had the lease all signed and everything else. And then somehow Blockbuster came in and basically took my lease, and the developer just said, "Hey, things happen." I said, "No."
Wow.
So I threatened to sue them.
Mm.
We settled, and then Blockbuster paid me for 15 years just to settle it. But the point is that it's just being transformative the way you think, and not worried about failure. And that's something we're going to talk about later on. I have no problem getting up to bat 8 to 10 times. I might strike out 6 times. But guess what? I'm going to get on base 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a baseball fan, if you bat 300, you pretty much can go to the Hall of Fame if you do it over time. But and after that, brothers, my story is very. I'm very transparent about my story. I was an alpha male. I was active here and there. To be honestly, I would show up at all the events when I was in town, and but. Did I go to meetings? No, not really. And I'm going to tell you, it was some years ago, a brother knocked on my door. And he said, "Brother Todd," he said, "we need you." At that point, I said, "What do you need?" And you got me. And that moment on, I came back, rolling my sleeves up immediately, trying to make a difference in the fraternity and in the chapter. And that story resonated with then Midwest Regional Vice President Lambda. He appointed me as Reclamation co-chair.
Right, I remember that we worked together on that committee. I actually worked on your committee.
Yep, and then thusly, I served with under Brother Regional Vice President Stovall, and now with Brother Stacy. And I'm proud of that work of the reclamation and retention. No matter what they change the name, it's still the same thing. But it's about telling a story. And brothers can understand the story, because I understand them, because I've been in that position. So I don't come in from a judging perspective. I come from a perspective of love, uplifting, and I will tell them that I am you, you are me. And I tell them, quite frankly, I need you.
Let me go back for a minute, because there's another part to your backstory, is your family connections. Your family connections to the fraternity. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because are you a 4th generation alpha?
I am.
Okay.
And you can tell that's not something I lead with. I don't lead with that. So
that's why I'm here.
Thank you. So correct. So my great grandfather, Dr. E.R. Kearney, Ernest R. Kearney, he was the 13th president of Gamma Lambda.
Okay.
He was the president or the administrator of basically the Negro Hospital Association. And what they did, back then, black folks could not go to regular hospitals.
Right.
There were maybe 200 to 300 Negro, they call it, colored hospitals around the country. And my grandfather, great-grandfather that is, was the president of that association, and he traveled to every hospital. I read it on one of his biography pages. He traveled to every one of those hospitals during his tenure as president, as well as in Detroit. He was the administrator of Parkside Hospital, which is one of the largest, most preeminent Negro hospitals in Detroit. He served as president of Gamma Lambda from 1936 to 1937. And this is what's interesting, Brother Smooth, is that I knew my great grandfather was an alpha. I knew that.
Okay.
But I had never really seen a picture of him.
Okay.
For years. It was one day, man, I was in the Alpha house doing some stuff, and I looked up. You ever had a eureka moment?
Mm-hmm.
I looked up. I said, "Wait a minute, that's my great grandfather."
Mm.
I never correlated it.
Right.
Put two together. So
And so
That was that. So
your
that's
grandfather.
and so my grandfather, William L. Colden, was at New Chapter, 1923.
Okay.
A couple years before, I think Thurgood Marshall did. I think Thurgood Marshall played 25.
Okay.
1925.
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
He's in the Sphinx magazine because they won an award like 1923 in the New Chapter. And I tell you, in late night reading, I stayed up reading the IRS tax codes and or the Sphinx magazine. Specifically, the Sphinx magazine in the 20s and 30s. There's a treasure trove of information here.
Yes, there is.
There
is.
History upon history upon history. But the writing was so robust,
Right.
so vivid, and they have the fraternity follies. That's always hilarious to me too.
Yes, it was.
It's just amazing that all this history is in our midst, and I just once I got a piece of it, and I was hooked on it.
So was your grandfather in Gamma Lambda as well?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
He was in
right.
Atlanta as well. I remember coming to the frat house with him. Now back then, the frat house, it was a whole different world.
Mm-hmm.
Great frat house, of which we've owned this since 1939.
Right, and I do want to discuss that
Okay.
at one point. So
Yeah, so I would go there with him, and basically, hey, Hary, sit down, be quiet, while men did what men do at the frat house, whatever
Right.
that was. I was sequestered, sit your butt down, and that's it. But I was a kid, and then later, Dr. John Carney, E.R. Carney's son, he pledged Alpha in 1934, 36, at Alpha Upsilon chapter at Wayne State University.
okay,
He went to World War II as a commissioned officer, and later for his career he was a dermatologist in California.
okay,
Which, when I crossed, he gave me a beautiful gift. I visited him in 1984. That's where I met Brother Dr. Raymond Cannon.
oh nice,
We went to, I think, the L.A. frat house, as well as he had a reception for me. My family liked to entertain, so entertaining back then was a lot of good food and a lot of beverages, if you will. But I finally remember meeting Brother Cannon. I was a newbie. I had no reference point of the historical nature of what I was doing. I taking pictures. I was kind of numb to it. But this is a fond period of time. And then, so that's three. And then I'm the fourth. I'm proud to uphold the lineage. I really am. I don't carry it on my sleeves because it can be kind of too much, maybe. But it's in my blood. Alpha is in my blood, and I tell you, and as a young kid growing up, there was no finer honor. There's no finer honor, Brother Smoot and you listeners, is when I would be around the little old ladies, my grandmothers, contemporaries, and grandparents, and they would say, "You must be an alpha, man." Man, my head was swell.
right.
Your carriage, your deportment. There was something about the way we carried ourselves, and I'm proud of that.
It's amazing how many of us have had those experiences. I mean,
Yeah.
I think a number of us who have come up, we get those reactions from people who don't know us, but they see that, that light of alpha within
Yep.
us. So, yeah. But let me ask you, Detroit, the Brothers in Detroit, you just referenced the Detroit Alpha House.
Yep.
And I've always been, it's one of the things I'm looking forward to for a regional convention next month to visit the Alpha House, because you all have a house. Your house predated our house that we had here in Chicago, but it seems that Detroit always seems to have held an important place in the fraternity, but a quiet place in the fraternity, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
That it was an important hub of the fraternity, but it was kind of, a little bit, you all kind of like Mellow Brothers, which is counterintuitive for Detroit. So, and so it became an important chapter. So how do you see that? I mean, is what I'm saying correct, or do you see it?
Well, when you look at Detroit, you look at the history of Gamble and the brothers. We have a long history in leadership within the fraternity.
Yes, you do. Absolutely.
Midwest region, on uppers to the presidency. I mean, not just Marcus Tillman, but I think Cotman before that, Percival Piper, excuse me, Raymond Scruggs. Names, luminaries within the fraternity. Now, these men were men of who were very quite accomplished, but they weren't maybe outwardly, where they're wearing their alpha on their sleeves. They just did the work. Now, mind you, let's understand. That pivotal pictures from 1925 at the General Convention. It was done here in Detroit.
Yes.
Where it's a long picture, historical photo.
Yep.
And the brother has a fur coat on.
Right. It's an iconic picture.
Iconic photo, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's Detroit.
Right.
Now, that brother was part of the chapter, okay? And my grandfather's in that photo as well somewhere. But my point is that, and I'm going to touch upon this, alpha men did not have to have on a shirt to do the work of alpha.
Mm-hmm.
They did it in their communities, and the alpha house has been an oasis of tranquility since 1939. You have to understand, in 1939, black men could not just go anywhere in the city of Detroit.
Right.
Black people lived in certain areas of Detroit, Black Bottom, and a couple other areas. That's it. But the Alpha House, in the middle of Alpha Phi Alpha, knew they needed to have somewhere where it's safe for brothers to meet, kick back, let the hair down, smoke cigarettes, whatever they could do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened there. And also, during the civil insurrection in the city of Detroit, in the early 40s, they had a race war.
Right.
The Alpha House was right ground zero in there. So it was, again, a safe haven for the brothers. Now, mind you, the brothers at that time, these brothers were majority doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, all you name it. Type of individuals. There was nobody working for GM back then. They were self-employed men in the community, undertakers, etc. And if you look at the names in the history book, Brother Smoop, you could just substitute Xi Lambda for Gamma Lambda.
Absolutely.
In that time frame of the caliber of the men who were part of our chapters. Just change the name of the state, of the city. They were equal kind of guys. But the historic Alpha House, of which it is on the state of Michigan of historic places.
Now, tell us, when did that happen? When did you all get it recognized?
On the state of Michigan, don't quote me. That's been a while. Because we've had two different plaques on that one. But we've had that one a while. Mm-hmm. Most recent one was on the Department of Interior of Historic Places. Okay. That is most recent in the last 5-6 years.
Right.
We're very proud of that. It took a lot of work of the committee of the brothers to put the work in, to apply, and to formally get it. Now, being a historical site means you're limited of what you can do as far as your structure. Now, mind you, also, the community of the Alpha House, let me just make sure this explains to your audience. Our house is in arguably the hottest area of the country. When I say that, we are in walking distance of 3 of Little Caesars Arena, recently constructed, Ford Field, and Comerica Park. From the Alpha House, we can walk to each of those, all 3 of those venues, as well as what that's done is put our house in the crosshairs of all the other development that's happening around.
Okay.
We have there's a condo across the street from the Alpha House, from your a frat house that was up for sale for $1.9 million. A condominium. So it's an amazing area.
Well, and I think what's important, I think an important lesson that you all learned, and that I think some other chapters have not learned, is the importance of using state and federal resources to preserve our history, the way you all, the way Gamma Lambda preserved the history of your house, and that you've had it, for coming up on almost 90 years now. That it has been in the operation of the fraternity. That's an important history aspect of the house. And so, as you all have done a number of things, I can always quote the different people who came to the Chicago, who were at the Chicago Alpha House and who played there. And I know there are similar things that happened in the Detroit house.
Yep.
You talk about it being how it was a cornerstone of the community, but can you talk about now how the house impacts the community currently?
That's a great question. Just recently, we had Brother Dr. Freddie Haynes. We hosted him at the Alpha House last month. We had Brother Senator Raphael Warnock at the Alpha House. The Alpha House is still the place. If you're trying to do anything in the city of Detroit, be it a politics, business, industry, and you're at Alpha, you want to make a visit there.
Right.
I do have some information. We got the state of Michigan award, historical, August of 1977. So we've had that for many years now. And the National Historic Register of Historic Places, 2021. I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. Yeah.
But even to this day, last year we did multiple events under the Voteless People, Hopeless People umbrella. We hosted senators. We hosted governors. Governor Whitmer did visit the Alpha House. We have a great relationship with our office and people on our team.
Mm-hmm.
Running for Congress. We're on visit the Alpha House, all the local leaders and judges, etc. We wanted to make sure that all things related to voteless people, hopeless people, they all roads led back to Alpha Phi Alpha Gamma Lambda chapter.
Right.
We have an amazing team of brothers who run the voteless people, hopeless people campaign, as well as our house committee. Don't get me wrong. You're dealing with individuals, but those brothers, I would stake my life upon them. When we comes down to the failed clutch of circumstance, we get things done. Right now, it's led by brother, past president of GL Will Lyons, number 44, brother vice president Harvey Christian. They kind of manage the house. It's an over 100-year-old house.
Right.
We got all of it got something going on, And like anything else, but those brothers, as well as more brothers, who step up and just do the hard, the heavy lifting. We own three parcels of land in the city of Detroit. We own the house.
Gamma Lambda does?
Yes.
Okay.
We own the house, a parking lot to our left, and a parking lot to our right.
Mm-hmm.
But we have positioned ourselves to be flexible. And also, I'm proud to announce, to share to your crowd, to your listeners, this last year we awarded $200,000 in ARPA grants from the federal government through the COVID-19 Act. We applied, we worked tirelessly. Brother Kyle Hamilton Sr. worked on that. Brother,
Mhm.
brother Paul Bryant. When I found that information out, Brother Smooth, I sicked my guys on that, and we got it. And I will admit, some of our neighbors who wear different color shirts they were fighting like one. They're like, "What the hell y'all do? How y'all do it?" And I just had to say, "Hey, man, we're alphas. What can I say?" But we just work together. Don't get me wrong; it ain't easy. It's not easy.
Right. No, it never is.
But when we get a goal in our hand, in our mindset, ain't no stopping us now. And
Now, Gamma Lambda has been, and being from Xi Lambda, I'm a little reticent to bring this up, but Gamma Lambda has been a highly decorated chapter within the fraternity. You guys have won regional and international chapter of the year on several occasions recently.
We have
Unfortunately,
won 3 times within 10 years. All facts matter.
All facts matter. It's just
we are the reigning back-to-back. We won in 2021, 2023, and God willing, the creed on rise. We're gonna be doing what we can to, but we do it not to win. We do it because the work needs to be done.
right.
We've
Right.
never been clout chasing or award chasing. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, we ain't got enough room for all the awards, and that's not trying to be braggadocious.
So if I can add just one thing, I do know one of the reasons why you all won those awards, and that's because of Jason Malone and Dante Crump, good Theta brothers. So who I made, so I got to take a little bit of credit. So Gamma Lambda can thank me.
And as you shall. Those are my guys. I talked to Jason earlier today.
Yeah.
He still likes me, and Dante's my guy. But yeah, man.
I think if I can, I think what you just said, I think is really important. Is that the awards is kind of like the gravy, but it's the work that we do, and it's been watching. Now correct me if I'm wrong or remind me. But didn't Gamma Lambda, didn't you all have create partnerships both with the McDonald's Corporation and Walmart at one point? Am I misremembering?
That might have been earlier.
Okay.
Because I can't confirm or deny that.
Okay.
I know our really departed brother Dr. William Picard was an owner, operator of McDonald's at one time. So in his inimitable way of bringing resources together, he probably did do something.
Okay.
But we do work heavily with our partners.
Right.
Right from the schools, Henry Ford Health Systems, and Rocket. We have relationships with them. We believe in being focus about our community. Detroit's a big city. It's 142 square miles, right?
Right.
And when I became president, it was incumbent upon us to ensure that we touch all facets of the city of Detroit, all demographics.
And let me just put a pin on this. You are the 50th president of Gamma Lambda. Is that correct? And
Yes.
you were installed in what year?
I was installed 2023, September
2023.
2023.
Right.
Yes.
And so, I want to, and I want to deviate slightly for a quick moment,
Okay.
and go back to another point I want to get. But it seems that as I've watched the success of Gamma Lambda over the few years, that seems to mirror a little bit of the development that seems to have been happening in Detroit overall. I mean, Detroit has been coming up over the last few years. And it was one of I had a cousin who lived in Detroit. He used to always sing his praises back in the 70s, but then in the 80s he was like, "No, don't come here." So it seems to be Detroit has kind of risen a little bit. Can you speak about that?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Gamma Lambda has been in Detroit. Where our house is located. So let's take our house and then put the surrounding area, like two different of the two different aspects of consideration. The house in 1939 was pretty much a house. So the area of Brush Park was basically an area modeled after a neighborhood in Paris.
Okay.
At Parisian influenced mansions, right? That style of architecture, big gargoyles and
right.
And big large facades and all that stuff, right? Those houses in the 1880s when they were built initially, it was where all the captains of industry lived. The
right.
local barons and railroad titans and all that, right? It was basically called Millionaires Row. Brush Park was basically Millionaires Row.
Okay.
Like everything else, the Depression, the Great Depression, depressed that, as well as, eventually, those houses became very difficult to maintain and keep up, even back then. So it fell to disrepair. It followed the decline of the city of Detroit too.
Okay.
A great part of our story. We participated in the decline, meaning the decline happened and we were right there. There were some dark days at the Alpha House. In the 70s, 60s, nobody wanted to be down there after dark.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be frank. Around the block, there was shooting galleries and whatnot, and people applying their entrepreneurial spirits in whatever way that they were trying to do that. It was a dark period of time for the city of Detroit. But the men of Gamma Lambda, and even in the 80s, when things were coming up, but we were still there. Not saying that we were not struggling at times.
Mm-hmm.
If the whole neighborhood is struggling, if the constituents of the neighborhood are struggling, the brothers who don't maybe live in Detroit are struggling, then GL is going to struggle.
Right.
But like we rose like the phoenix out of the ashes as the city of Detroit improved their situation. Taxes were very onerous at times. Membership was challenging because again, there were times it was like, hey, I'm not going down there on a Friday night. It's dangerous.
Right.
But Alpha Phi Alpha was still there. We kept the lights on.
Yep.
And so
that's important.
We had a precipitous rise during the two mayors of the city of Detroit have been Alpha men.
Right.
Right. Archer, Brother Kwame Kilpatrick. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud to say we have two brothers of the city council still today. Brother James Tate, Brother Scott Benson. The Alpha man is also the Inspector General, Brother President Kamal Marable. Alpha men have been a part of this city's rise and its trajectory of its influence, not just in Detroit, but around the state and the country. But again, even though we are a very human-based organization with this edifice that was decaying, it might have been a little depressing. But the brothers, man, they just somehow kept it together. So I'm now the caretaker of this, and we ain't going backwards on my watch.
Of course not.
So we are moving onward and upward, but it's about the brothers before me to set the stage of whose shoes I tried to fit and continue walking proudly as the president of Alpha Phi Alpha Gamma Lambda chapter.
And that actually segues perfectly into what I wanted to ask you about. Now I've heard you. One of the things that the Brothers of Gamma Lambda have been known for their philanthropy and being involved and giving back to the community. And I've heard you tell the story of the origins of this before. But can you tell us the how the Jive Turkey issue came about, and what prompted you to create that?
Okay, cool. So years ago, I went to Ralph J. Bunch Elementary School in East Side Detroit, and it was and then later on, I'm in the insurance business. Okay, that's my occupation. I just said, I want to do something. So I went up to the school, and I went to a couple of teachers. I knew one teacher who was still there from when I was there, and I said, "Hey, I want to buy some turkeys for the kids for Christmas, for Thanksgiving." Said, "Oh wow, great, thank you." And I started doing that for the school. It grew so much that I was doing it out of my pocket. This is in the '90s.
Right.
It got to the point I started renting like a little 10-foot box truck, if you will. You rent those.
Okay.
They called me the Turkey Man. And, I'm a big turkey, which is not a far cry at all. So I did that for about 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? When the evacuees from Hurricane Katrina came to town, I saw there was a need. They were at a hotel in Southfield, Michigan, and did not have any food to eat. I took it upon myself and said, "Hey, you know what? I got to do something." So I bought a whole bunch of food.
And let's be clear, you bought the food out of your pocket.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So when Hurricane Katrina happened, that was 2002, right?
Okay. Yeah. Around then, yeah.
And then, I kind of, life happened, the kids are getting older, so whatever. But then it was 2018, I went to a local grocery store, and I was behind a family there was a mom and 2 children, and the mom was kind of telling the kids, "Hey, no, put that back, put that back." Kids want things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they should. So I kind of quietly mouthed to the cashier that basically said, "Hey, her bill, give it to me, I'll take care of it." I did it to maintain her privacy, her dignity.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it, and I felt great walking out of that store then. And then it hit me when I got to my car. I said, "Well, hell, that's only one person. I need to do more." And so I shared the information. Wow. I shared the information with my closest 2,000 friends, whatever, on social media. And they all said, "Hey, Hary, we want to help. We want to help. We want to help." So I came up with a goofy name, Jive Turkeys Detroit. And the whole key was, you take a name like Jive Turkeys and you change the narrative. A Jive Turkey in the 70s and 60s was a person of ill repute, whose word was compromised.
Right.
He trusted, a Jive Turkey. Shucking and jiving. So I changed the narrative of Jive Turkeys to mean something, to make a difference. In the first year, make a difference right there. First year, we did 42 families, and we did the whole turkey, the fixing. We had the whole shebang. It was amazing. Next year, we did like 125. The whole thing. And that was a lot of work.
Right.
Next year, COVID-19 happened.
I remember that.
Huh. So we had to change what we had to do. So we changed from just give out all the food, everything, to a turkey and a gift card. We through Meyer Corporation at that time. That was 650 in 2020. 2021, we did 1,000 turkeys. Now, every turkey, whatever, feeds a family size of 10 to 14. Let's understand that. We don't buy baby turkeys. We buy nice 14 to 16 pound turkeys. We did a gift card in 2021 as well. What I realized in 2022, the gift card world is very compromised. There's a lot of fraud in there.
Yeah. Okay.
So it became increasingly difficult to do that. So we had to pivot back to doing turkeys only. And I think in 2022, 1,500. Ultimately, last year, 3,000 across the state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Went Michigan down to Pontiac, Southfield, Lathrop Village, to Detroit, to Muskegon Heights, and Kalamazoo. We don't discriminate against anybody. Feeding families is what we do. Man, this is
Yeah. Look how that works out.
I mean, and yeah, feeding families is what we do. And I'm particularly proud. We took care in 2023. We did 700 turkeys for the school district of Mount Clemens Heights. Mount Clemens.
Okay.
School.
Mm-hmm.
And we did 700. I felt good about that. And I told the administrator, who's an alpha man, I said, next year we'll do every student in the school, every student in the district. He said, Hary, every student. I was like, everyone. I don't want to discriminate against a kid.
Right.
So everybody. So this past year, 2024, we did every kid in the Mount Clemens School District. I'm
That's
proud
so
of that.
amazing. As well you should be. And just to put a point on that, we do have the website up, which is jiveturkeysdetroit.com. When you go to that website, on the front page, up on the right-hand side, there's a donate button. This is a very worthy cause. I have contributed a few times myself, and continue.
We're a 501c3.
And so we do encourage people to log on and donate. And so you're looking, so what's next for the Jive Turkeys?
It was funny. We just had a meeting, and so I have had to fire myself, because I could go my grandiose dreams. I don't believe nothing we can't do.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, our executive team, we're putting together the plan this year. It's going to be north of 3,000 to 4,000.
Awesome.
But it's increasingly difficult. Last year, we got all our turkeys from Walmart, for example.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Understand, I paid for them
Right.
with my American Express card.
Right.
$35,000.
Right.
They didn't donate a penny. They didn't give us nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I'm concerned, even though I was going to ask for something with the rollbacks and cuts and we don't need your business, or we want your business. We don't have to give you anything to get something. But I'm going to be indefatigable. I'm going to keep asking, and I'm going to tell the story, the Jive Turkey story. That is a story about loving people, humanity, and to those who can't. That's where we come in. And I will tell you, we've had bipartisan support. The chapters help out the Jive Turkeys. We work closely with them at two different schools with different initiatives. And to your viewers, you could do this without wearing an Alpha shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha shirt, a Q shirt, AKA shirt, Delta shirt, Zeta shirt, Sigma Gamma Rho, Phi Beta Sigma shirt, or a shirt that says I'm a Catholic, I'm a Baptist, I'm a this. You're a human being. The humanity needs action. You've never seen a picture of those men in the 1940s, 50s of Martin Luther King. He didn't have an alpha hat on.
Right.
He did
Absolutely.
He did the work of the God. He did the work of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to compare myself to Martin Luther King whatsoever. What I'm saying is that you don't need to wait for somebody to do right.
Right. Exactly.
You can make a difference in your community today, tomorrow. You can go start a reading initiative. We need to worry about how our 5th and fourth graders to get them up to reading level. If we did that on an annual basis, on a regular basis, it would pay dividends for those babies who look like us. Reading opens up doors that they might not even know is a door available.
Absolutely.
And I'm proud that this is like that. We do that at different schools, GL. But, my focus is doing a little bit to make the world a better place. And when I do that, man, I sit in the corner and just say, damn.
And you're absolutely doing that. We're about to start running up on time a little bit. I do also want to give you the opportunity a little bit. So next month in Detroit, Michigan, Gamma Lambda is one of the host chapters for the Midwest Regional Convention. And so I want you to talk a little bit about what brothers and our guests and our friends and can expect during the convention.
Well, great question. Well, Gamma Lambda is the host chapter, number one. When we were awarded it last year in Milwaukee, it was a proud night. We had our hats on.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
We kind of strutted to the stage and all that. But I want the brothers to know, and all the guests, goodwill is the monarch of this house. Men and women enter. Men and women enter. Exchange greetings, depart friends. We're going to have an amazing convention. Our team is working tirelessly to ensure that the brothers and all our guests have a good, safe time. The Alpha House will be open pretty much every day, all
good,
day.
Good.
We will have a social event on Thursday at TV Lounge. It's a Brotherhood Smoke, open to the public.
Okay.
Details are coming shortly. There'll be music, tent, DJs, etc. Great fellowship, camaraderie. Again, we want all the people from the D9, people just live in Detroit to come and visit, support. And as well as we have another social event on Friday at One Mic. It's a club in Detroit where I don't want to get to all the details, but trust and believe. It has Detroit fingerprints written all over it.
Okay.
Good time. They're going to get the gala on Saturday. But the bottom line is that our team will be able to greet you. You hit the Detroit limits, there's going to be an alpha man. Somebody says, welcome to Detroit. And they will walk you to wherever you need to go. They're not just going to give you a map and say, hey, go down the street, make a left, make a right, and go up the stairs. No, that brothers are been told that if a brother looks lost, needs some direction, take them. And that's what we will do.
Right.
We have a serious committee led by this director, Al Elvin, who's our convention chair, and his able lieutenants. So we're working our butts off. We have meetings every day about this. Our main job is to be wonderful hosts, make sure people realize when you come to Detroit, you'll remember it and you be like saying, damn, we'll be coming back to the D.
Right.
So,
right.
And Brother McKinnis knows we got
I just know that song. It's getting cold in the D.
Yes.
So, Brother Todd, I'm going to ask you one last question, then I'm going to hand it over to our district director. And it's one of the questions that I like to ask brothers, who, particularly those who have been around for a while. What is it about Alpha that keeps you engaged, that keeps you involved, that keeps you believing in the mission? What is it that keeps you dedicated to the organization?
Thank you, Brother Smooth, for that question. It allows me to be introspective. The main thing is I listen, I read what the brothers did and went through to start to found this organization. And I say, am I doing something to continue to uphold the aims? Am I continually the mission of those 7 beautiful young men on a cold day, December 4th, Cornell University? What they built, I'm carrying the pigskin now, being all right else, and I'm not going to fumble. I'm not going to fumble. You're not going to pry it away from me. It's deep in my heart. It's deep in my heart, and when we're cruising on all cylinders, man, it's like, you have one of those sports cars that probably McKinnis has, 6 speed, and you're working well, probably but when it's cruising on all cylinders, man, there's nothing better. There's nothing that makes me prouder to say I'm an alpha man. And yeah, there's times that there's consternation, makes me want to pull my hair out and grab another adult beverage. But then there's other times, man, that uplift my spirits. I just turned 62 a couple days ago, okay?
That's right. Happy belated birthday,
brother.
my
Thank
brother.
you, Belated, Brother Todd.
Yes.
62.
I still got a lot of energy, man. I still got a lot
Yes,
of
you
fuel.
do. Yes, you do.
Ain't no brother gonna outwork me.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. And so when I look at these neos, I'm like, hey, man, come on, man. Tired? What you talking about? If I'm asking you to take out the garbage, I'm taking out the garbage.
There you go.
Yes,
So let me, last thing, just remember, I did, for on behalf of myself, I do want to thank you. I'm going to turn this over to Brother McKinnis. Brother McKinnis sometimes, he gets a little chintzy. He's with 2 80s brothers. So, I know he's feeling a little overwhelmed by the wondrousness of brothers initiated in the 80s. And, and Brother Todd, I know you can also testify from your experience of knowing that I have a hard time convincing Brother McKinnis of the wondrousness of deuces. For some reason, he don't believe in that. And so...
Deuces, baby.
No.
Come on now.
I did not realize you were a deuce, man.
Come on now. Look at me. Look at us.
Oh, you think I wasn't setting you up, Brother McKinnis?
Well, I tell you what. Next week we are dealing with a captain. So,
I know we are. But last thing, Brother Todd, I look forward to seeing you next month in Detroit. I expect you to have some whiskey for me, and we will sit down and we will commiserate. But it has been, honestly, I do want to thank you, and that's how I was going to turn it over. Everyone who's watching, everyone who is listening, please remember to go to the website, jiveturkeysdetroit.com. Click the donate button. Donate whatever you can. Any amount helps, and that is a wondrous organization that Brother Todd has started. And we thank you for your service, and particularly for sharing your story with us, my brother. So thank you again, Brother McKinnis. I'll turn it over to you.
Hey, Brother Todd, that was great, man. Do you know, all the years I've known you, I did not know you were 4th generation Alpha.
Really?
I mean, that is actually a deep sense of, like, when you said, when Brother Smooth made that comment, and then you followed with, I don't lead with that. That's true. I have never heard you rest on that. And I'm talking about 13 plus years that I've had your acquaintance. I learned that tonight, man. And I know about you, about what you do, about your beautiful children, about, Detroit. Yeah. But that one thing is, man, what a legacy. I knew your dad. I didn't know it went back, so many generations.
Yeah. So, again, man, I don't rest on the laurel. I mean, it's just, it's there. it's deep in my
Yeah.
heart. It's in my
Of course
blood.
it is.
But you know, it's ghosts always say, "Well, I'm a this and that. I ain't that." No, I want to show. I'm worried about showing doing the work. How about that? And you know, contrary to my people might think, I'm a quite. I'm not as. I'm kind of shy. I'm kind of shy. No, no, I'm kind of shy, but I let my work speak for myself.
Yeah, and the body of work is good. And
It
I'll say
absolutely is.
this, again, this is one of those, 62. I mean, I would have, Brother Todd, man, your energy is remarkable.
Thank you.
You and I stood up having bourbon. Here I am in my early 40s, and I feel, I feel like you can keep up with my energy, man. It's
Well,
stunning.
listen.
In other words, them captains can't hang.
I set up with some of the best that did it. R. Anthony Sims, Willard Hall, Hyacinth Runye. I was with
Oh,
them.
yeah, Runye, man,
And,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then we were drinking some high pollutant bourbon. And,
Yeah.
And I need to take a mortgage out to pay for some of those, man. But man, but Brother Smoot, Brother Kenneth, anywhere I ate, if I'm eating lamb chops, y'all eating lamb chops. If I'm
Oh, it's
drinking,
true.
if I'm drinking Blanton's, y'all drinking Blanton's.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
we have done that.
I'm not gonna have Blanton's to give y'all Heaven to Heal. I don't do that.
We know how you are, brother.
Yeah, well, we thank you for not passing the Evan Hill, but but listen, brother, this has been so good.
Thank you
Brother
for
Todd,
having me.
man, thank you for
It's a
this
pleasure.
great interview, man, and we'll see you soon, and I look forward to you
Safe
and I
travels.
enjoying bourbon like we always do. So,
Yes, sir.
um,
Yes, sir.
my brother.
Safe travels,
To
brother.
all those who joined us tonight, thank you for coming on.
Thank
We
you.
look forward to seeing you next week as we continue our Black History series and lifting up unsung heroes in this fraternity. Next week, we're returning back to the District of Illinois and interviewing the sitting Midwestern Regional Executive Director, a captain. Captain, wait, I'll tell you his name next week because I know his name and I know it well. So I'll share his name next week. But Quincy Banks will be joining us next week on this platform. So again, brothers and guests and those in the virtual space, thank you, and we'll see you next week by the Fireside.
Thank you. Thank you again.
All right, thank y'all.